Today in the PIO podcast, we'd like to welcome Carolina Montelongo. She's the Public Relations Coordinator for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office in Tampa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Robert, for having me here.
Carolina, I always do a lot of research on my guests because I want to know what, their background and stuff. And looking at your background, you've got a really broad spectrum of experience. It would be an understatement to say that at the least. Can you elaborate a little bit on your background?
Of course. Well, actually, it was never on my plans to become a PIO. I always wanted to be a TV anchor and a radio anchor in Spanish, I must say. So I was working as a journalist in Venezuela while I was doing my bachelor. Then I moved to this country to do my master in journalism to, as I said, only work in Spanish as a TV and radio anchor. I worked for 5 years in media in Miami. And then I felt that I need a change. I wanted to do something different. Actually, my main goal was just to help my community as a journalist, and I felt I was not doing so. So I tried to change careers. I was thinking, what can I do? And I thought about being just changed to public affairs. But honestly, never in my life I imagined I will be a PIO because we don't have that in Venezuela. We don't have a PIO. So I just decided to jump in this crazy idea of changing careers, and I have now 2 years as a PIO here in Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
So if you're mostly in the journalism end of it, on the talking head in front of the camera kind of journalism, most of your stuff was community engagement and communications based?
Yes, I always wanted to talk to the Hispanic community. I realized when I moved to this country that when Hispanics moved to this country, we do not know so many things because we just live differently in our countries. And I realized with my friends, even with my Hispanic teacher from the master, that there were so many things that we didn't know. And I just decided to start communicating, just investigate a little bit and just communicating and explaining things to people like with apples and pears. So just we can, I believe, just be happier in this country because the more you know, the more comfortable you feel.
Of
So
course.
yes, I just started communicating with my social media, using my social media just to help at least some Hispanics just to feel better and to have knowledge because knowledge is power.
Absolutely. So let's get some basics out of the way. For the Hillsborough County Sheriff's, or I should say, the population of Hillsborough County, how big is it?
Oh my goodness, we have 1.5 million
Okay.
of people living here. And I must say that number will always change because this county is growing so much. We believe that this year is going to grow, between the next 2 years, it's going to grow 12%. Imagine the
Wow.
amount of people that are moving to this amazing area. And I don't blame them because I was one of them 2 years ago that I decided to move to this amazing county. But yeah, it's growing.
Absolutely, and I like I said when we talked off air, I talked about how I had done stuff for the sheriff's office down there many years ago. I love the community down there. I have some friends that live down there. One of my wife's very good friends lives in Tampa, and also another one in the heck is it? No, it's not Tampa. Brandon's still Tampa. Yeah.
Yes. No,
Yeah, Brandon's still
that's
Tampa.
Manatee. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
Brandon.
Manatee.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the civilian staff population versus the sworn deputy population? How many of each?
Okay. So for the sworn deputies, we have more than 2,000. And when I say more than 2,000, it's because we have so many people joining HCSO. We have, I don't know if you have seen our social media. We have, I believe, like around maybe 4 graduations a year that are people that are not pre-served. So we have a lot, and I would say thankfully we have so many people who decided to join HCSO, more than 2,000, and with civilian we have more than 1,000 of
Okay, so
employees in here.
very large department. And for our listeners to understand this, in Florida, the sheriff's office is like the chief law enforcement department in the community. So it's not like cities; it's more the sheriff's department. They handle the bulk of the lifting for everything that goes on down in Florida.
Yes.
That's the way it is.
Yes.
So let me ask you this about the hiring process. So you guys are having 4 academies a year, and you're graduating that many staff. I mean, I'm obviously you're not understaffed then?
The thing is, like, it depends because at this moment you can be right, but with the growing of the population every year, you will need more deputies in order to protect the community and to have the
Right.
amount of right deputies
Okay.
in comparison with how many people are living here in the county.
Okay.
But
Okay.
honestly, I
Okay.
would say the more the better because actually working here in ATSO is just an amazing opportunity to engage with the community. People believe that only if you're a deputy, you're only just working out of the street, patrolling and catching bad guys. Yes, of course, that's what so many deputies decided to join ATSO, but we have so many areas in here, school resource deputies, we have special investigations, we have so many things to do in here that I believe there's a space for everybody here in HCSO.
Absolutely, I agree. So, but with a question for you, for your office, how is your office staffed?
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, I never imagined when I decided to join HCSO that a public affairs office was going to be so big. So we have our chief communication officer, then we have the assistant chief communication officer. They both were PIOs years prior, and we have 4 PIOs now. Plus, we have 2 videographers that they are amazing because even though the PIOs, the majority of us, we have like a background in journalism, these 2 videographers, they have so many experiences doing like great things because they used to work on TV. So
Mm,
they are perfect when you want to do like bigger things, with animations and things like that. Plus, we have, and I have here their titles, a Hispanic Community Relations Coordinator. We have a Black Community Relations Coordinator. Plus, we have Creative Services. Creative Services is the team composed by 3 graphic designers, and 2 of them are photographers, like professional photographers.
wow.
So it's a big team.
Okay, that's a very large team. Now, are they any of the staff sworn, or is it just all civilian staff?
Just civilian staff. We had our Hispanic Community Relations Coordinator. She used to be a deputy, a community relations deputy, but now she's a civilian.
Okay, excellent. Wow,
Yeah.
that is just an amazing amount of staff, and what a great support to have that many people.
Yeah,
But
we are.
it's a busy county though too.
That's what I was gonna say. We're very lucky that Sheriff Cronister understand the importance of talking to your community to be the first ones in telling your story. But in order to do that, with a big county, you need a well-staffed public affairs office. So we are
Absolutely,
very lucky that we have that support from Sheriff that he understands that in order to tell our story, to do all the cool things that we want to do, we need to be well staffed.
absolutely. So when you first started in this role 2 years ago, because it wasn't something you planned on doing, what surprised you about it?
Surprise me, I would say the amount of things that we do. And it usually happens also when I tell people that I'm a PIO. Usually people say like, so you're just a social media person? And I'm like, I get it. I was like that, but
Yeah,
no, I'm more than that. So we do so many things and I never imagined how many things this public affairs office does. I've seen other agencies that, for example, only their PIOs are deputies and then you have a social media manager. In here, when it comes to the PIO, we do everything. We manage social media, but we also write the press releases. We are on call once a month, 1 week a month. We are on call, which that means we have to go to the scenes at 3 a.m. if something happened. We also host events. We prepare events like we help in some events that need like a communication direction. So we do so many things. And when I started here, actually the first week, I was like, why did I join? Like, why did I change? Why? But honestly, it has been the greatest decision of my life working here, working as a PIO, and working next to the community.
excellent. All right, so you've been there 2 years now. Is there anything you'd like to change about it? And if there is, what is it?
To say that that change was already made. Like when I started, I realized as a Hispanic that if we want to communicate with our Hispanic community, we can't just tell the same things the same way we do it in English. Some people believe that if you just put subtitles, that's gonna work. And no, because even with jokes, sometimes there are certain jokes that I believe they're so funny, and my friends are like, this is not that funny. So one change that we made is that we understood that if you want to communicate and if you want to connect, that I think is most importantly, if you want to connect with your community in order for them to trust you, you need to create content just for them, the way they like, the way they are actually going to engage. So throughout my first year, with great support from my teammates, from my supervisors, they let me create specific content. For example, what to do if you're getting pulled over. Because yes, we do know that, but honestly, it's totally different in our countries. So just doing a video of 20 seconds explaining people that you don't have to stop abruptly, that you have to actually stop, that you don't have to get out of the car. So those type of tips that we believe that might be common sense for us, it's just different. So just creating those type of videos, piece of content that are just specific for them, it's perfect to connect with them. And I think that was a change that was made throughout this year.
Excellent. All right. So you're talking about doing social media and then everybody kind of has a hand in it. So what platforms is the sheriff's office currently using?
So we use, when it comes to social media, we have Facebook, X or Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I must say we do not post the same content on each social media. We change because it depends. For example, if I want to post a traffic alert, that just go to Twitter because usually people go to Twitter when they want to see that. They're not going to go to
Right.
Instagram
Right.
and things like that. When it comes to a missing person, we go to Twitter and Facebook because Instagram people just like cute things. So we have those four social media accounts, and we just decide where we're gonna post things.
Okay. Do you have any accounts that are like specifically Spanish accounts that are social media based?
Yes. Yes, we have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter where we only post things in Spanish.
Excellent. So that's
Yeah.
very good. Now, is your department website, is it bilingual or is it only in English?
It depends. We have mostly it's in English, but then you have options when it comes to how to report a crimes and things like that that are in Spanish.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So you guys are really doing a nice job there. Have you explored the use of any other social media platforms for future use?
At this moment, I would say no. I do know that we have, for example, an account with Threads that is like the Twitter for Instagram, but we do not use it that much just because we realize that our community is engaged in these four platforms that we're just using.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in regards to YouTube, are you guys using it primarily as the posting video, or are you using it more like the TikTok version with short?
We mostly use it for the videos, usually when we want to link body cam footage from something that happened. We
Mhm.
usually post it there so media can download it easily instead of
Okay.
just having a PIO to send you the video. It's just easier for them if they go to the YouTube and they just download it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah. Why have to redo it and host it on your own site when YouTube can do it so much better? I mean, it's so much easier that way. All right. So, how do you guys at the sheriff's office? How do you communicate to the community in a crisis? What? How do you put that information out?
We use press releases. It just depends on what we want to communicate. We use press releases. We also use, for example, PSA for social media. But honestly, I do believe that it is a case by case. But I think most importantly, we communicate just being honest and transparent. We understand that if we want the community to trust us and if we want to build that trust within our community, we need to be honest and transparent, and we have to tell our story. If we do that, if this is not only about bad things, if you're also telling your community the training our deputies are getting, the new equipment our deputies are getting, how
Right.
this is
Right.
going to be beneficial for them, just being honest and transparent, I think is key to communicate with them.
Absolutely. Are you guys using any software that helps you post and publish information on your social media platforms, like a social news desk or Hootsuite to publish to?
Yeah. We use one called Agora Polls.
Okay.
We have been using it, I believe, yeah, like 1 year and a half, and it had been really good for what we need. It's very easy to schedule things. We schedule reels, tweets, everything that we need to post on social media. And it has been very helpful.
Okay, and is it everybody has access to that one platform, or is it like a user based thing or pay per month?
Yeah, I was going to say define everybody, but the
Yeah,
PIOs, yeah.
the PIOs, the four PIOs, and maybe
Yes,
your assistant director of communications and your
yes,
director of communications. Yeah,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, we
All
do
right,
have access to that.
Carolina, I saw that you are really concerned about misinformation. That's kind of like your mantra there involving the Latino community. You started a news service called Cacao News. Is that
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yeah.
As a way for the Latino community to get reliable information. Where did your concern come from, and who do you feel? Why do you feel compelled to do something about it?
I think it's just for my own experiences. When I came to this country, I was working, I was studying, and I have a lot of questions. And I realized so many people were telling me so many different things. And if you have a question, I had to go to a lawyer and pay $200 just to get one answer. So I was like, we need to do something. So
Right,
I
right,
started investigating and I realized that so many things were explained very difficult. So I just honestly, this was not planned. My plan was not to get famous. I was just like, I just need to explain this so people can understand. And basic things like, for example, how to get a work permit, what is a TPS when you're a migrant, what to do when you're getting pulled over, those type of things that I had the opportunity then to implement in the sheriff's office. Just basic things that we believe you should know when you move to this country, but actually there's so many things we don't know that I just decided to start creating this basic, at that moment were just 60-second videos because I was doing it in reels. So I was just like, I have 60 seconds to make this information easy to understand. And actually it worked out. People love it. And I really had a great time creating that. That's one of my goals in 2025 is just to make again some time to continue creating content in that platform. It's CACO News because my nickname is CACO.
CACO.
So
Okay. All right.
yes, so I was
I said
CACO
I said
News.
it the wrong way. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right. So your desire for informing the Latino community is a great thing, because I think we've had the Latino community and law enforcement has always had kind of a little a bump, because part of it is what goes on in their home countries versus what goes on here, and that kind of
Yeah.
creates that issue. So, what other changes would you like to make within the sheriff's office and how they reach out to the community?
I would love to continue to do what we're doing, and we are, as I mentioned earlier, we're creating content for the Hispanic community, content that they will understand, even because it can be as simple as how do you start a video. It is not the same how do you start a video, like filming the video in English, on how do you do it in Spanish, because you only have 3 seconds to actually get the attention of whoever is watching social media. So I believe doing that, plus I'm very lucky that when I'm filming these videos, I get to use different deputies who are Hispanics, which this is very helpful because this is helping the community to understand that there are also Hispanics who are deputies and
Right.
that we are here not to get tickets, because I think that's one of the main concerns that we have as Hispanic when we move to this country. We believe that the deputy is pulling you over because he's going to get you a ticket. And actually, that's not true. He's pulling you over because he's just want you to be safe. So for example, maybe your headlights are not working. That can cause you an accident. So he's just giving you a warning, telling you, listen, maybe you don't know this is happening. So I believe it's just to continue doing what we're doing is that it's just showing that we have a lot of Hispanic deputies that speak your own languages, that also we have the same background. Some people came to this country when they were 15 years old, but some of them came to this country when they were 22 years old. But we have also deputies. We have a deputy, an amazing story. He's from Cuba and he became a deputy when he was like 40 something. So just showing the community that we have different deputies from different backgrounds, different countries, different ages. They came to this country in different ways. So they can connect and they can understand that we're just here because we want to protect and serve the community.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. By the way, when I was down there years ago, I met some amazing Cuban deputies. And by the way, you guys have some of the best Cuban food outside of Miami. I swear to God, you really do. Standing. All right, Carolina, congratulations, first of all, being named Hispanic Civilian Employee of the Year for 2024
Thank
back
you.
in September. Can you talk about that award and why you got it?
Actually, I wasn't expected to get that award. We have in the sheriff's office a Hispanic, I would say, gala, because we have a Hispanic council here in the sheriff's office, which help us to connect with our community. I know I mentioned a lot connect, but I think it's so important to
Absolutely.
build that bond between the community and the sheriff's office. They have this award to celebrate one Hispanic deputy from law enforcement, one Hispanic deputy from detention, and one Hispanic civilian employee. And depending on what they did within the sheriff's office to help the community, they just get this award. And I'm honored that, first of all, that my supervisors thought that I will be good enough to be nominated to that award, and then winning that award. It has been an honor just because I feel it is proving that what we're doing as a sheriff's office, and I would say because I think the sheriff's office completely will have the mission of protecting and serving everybody in this county, and that include whoever live in this county. So I think this serves as a proof that actually we are helping our community and we are connecting and building that trust and that bond that we need in order for us just to serve and protect.
Excellent. Is there a question I should have asked you? And if so, how would you have answered?
I don't think so. I think all the questions that you asked were spot on. So it has been
Excellent.
great.
Excellent, Carolina. All right, so let's go to some rapid fire.
Okay, let's go.
All right, here we go. Texting or talking?
Texting.
Movies or books?
Movies.
This is one that's gonna stump everybody. Favorite childhood TV show?
Oh my gosh. Well, in Spanish, it's called Es tan Raven. That I guess in English is It's So Raven, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
that one.
nobody here is gonna know that one. That's why, especially we're in Venezuela. So yeah. Adult drink of choice?
A what? Sorry?
Adult drink of choice?
Adult drink of choice. Can be coffee? Or that's not an adult drink?
Well,
coffee.
Usually alcohol involved adult drink.
Well, could be wine. But
True.
more coffee than wine.
Okay, so you're a cafe leche.
No, honestly, I just like black coffee with no sugar, no milk, nothing.
Okay. Cats or dogs? What's your favorite go-to karaoke song?
Whatever song from Shakira. I love Shakira. In Spanish, of course.
Of course. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
The opportunity to go to the past. Just to relive moments.
Okay.
When I was a kid.
If you could instantly become an expert in one thing, what would it be?
I would love to be an expert on like detective, but when it comes to IT.
Okay.
Like I say that I'm a great, I wouldn't say stalker, but I'm really good at finding information in the computer. So that.
Okay. Ask permission or beg for forgiveness?
Beg for forgiveness.
What place do you most want to travel to?
I would love to go to Germany.
Favorite way to relax after a long day?
Go on a long walk with my dog. I have a German Shepherd, and then having dinner with my husband.
If you could choose to have coffee with any historical figure, alive or dead, who would it be?
So, alive would be Nayib Bukele from El Salvador. And I have to write that down because I was like, I don't know how to say this in English because I always refer to him in Spanish. So I was like, let me just write it. But yeah, that president from El Salvador.
Okay, excellent. What key points would you like our listeners to take from today's interview?
I do believe it is important to understand that in order to communicate and to connect with your community, you have to send the message in different ways. Like, there's no one specific post, there's no one specific PSA, there's no one specific event. There's so many ways to communicate with your community, and that's why I think it is so important to have a team as big as the one that we have, because it brings a lot of ideas and a lot of different things that we can do in order to connect with the community. So sometimes I see agencies that I wouldn't say agencies, but I just see sometimes people that they just believe that just posting one picture on Facebook is enough. And there's so many ways to connect with the community. And I think just having great relationship with the media, because even though the media, it is not your community, and it is not your audience, it is a way to get through your audience. So I think having great relationship with the media is also very important.
Outstanding. As we wrap this up, is there a piece of wisdom or a motto that you live by?
Just do it. The best things that have happened in my life is because I just decided to do it. I decided to move to this country. I decided to do my master. I decided to say yes when they offered me the position of being an anchor. And then I decided to say yes to be a PIO. And as I said, my life always gets better, and it's because I just do it.
Outstanding. Carolina, if somebody wants to reach out to you and connect with you because of something that they heard from today's interview, what's the best way they could do that?
Or you can do it through my email, Montelongo at teamhcso.com. Or you can also reach out to me through my social media at CACO, CACO News.
And I will add all that into the show notes. Carolina,
Perfect.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me here.